new singles out. How's everything going?
Do you know what? It's been really great. Like, I've been doing a school tour at the same time.
Okay.
So like, I go into schools and I perform my music, talk about the reasons behind my song, because obviously dance floor is all about inclusivity. It's about
Yeah.
being proud to be who you are.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, for me, certainly at school, I was never proud of who I was, and I was always
Right.
I was quite badly bullied, and I was very shy. And I
Yeah.
think it's always a horrible place. And like, when you're trying to find yourself as a teenager, it's really hard.
Yeah.
And then you kind of leave school and realize that actually being weird and being different is actually cool, and it's actually fun. So I kind of, been going to schools and talking about that and mental health. I suffer with PTSD,
Right.
so I go into schools and I talk about anxiety and how I find comfort in music. And it's been amazing to talk to kids who are so switched on and they're so aware of what is happening in the world and aware of social media and the ups and the downs of it. And it's been really like, kind of like, I've definitely cried and been like, this is amazing. And I've heard some stories that are really sad as well. So it's been great, and all coming out of just a single. And when people are like, music is just music, it's like, actually, no, you can really affect people. Yeah. Especially like, my music is fun and it's pop and it's 80s and it's all about living your best life. And then you hear the stories behind it and you're like, actually, it's because of this that I can be that confident and that crazy. So
I mean, just going back, I mean, what have you taken from the kids at school? I mean, what's that been? What have you learned from that?
Do you know, they're a lot more kind of understanding than I remember school. Like, I've been asked my pronouns. I've been asked like specific questions that I, as a kid, maybe I wasn't aware of it, or kind of things I wouldn't have been, like, I've been too afraid to ask. And like, kids asking about music as a career, when you're like, it's great that schools are now teaching that you can actually make a living from your passion, which is great. The main thing is just, kids are very switched on with mental health.
And
I think when I was at school, that I don't know about you, but when I was at school, we didn't really talk about it.
No, it was very different.
Yeah,
these are your subjects. This is what you learn.
Yeah, and like, I know everyone says I wish I'd learnt taxes and stuff like that at school, but I also think like well-being is such an important thing to learn. And going to these schools and hearing that they have therapists come in and talk to them, and they'll openly talk about if they've had a bad day and why they've had a bad day and how they deal with it. And I'm like, wow, this is a good thing for the next generation. Like, it gives me a bit of hope and faith in what's to come, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, how did that all come about? The whole...
Really randomly. A few friends of mine had told about like doing these school tours and how great it is to interact with kids, and kids will always like, kind of, if they like your music, I mean, kids are brutal. If they don't like your music, then they'll tell you, which is really weird. But when they love it, and they will message you on TikTok, they'll follow you on Instagram, they will stream your music. And I've really noticed it. Like, kids will message me and be like, I love this part of the song, and they're so specific. And I'm like, wow, I can't even get my friends to be that specific about what they like about my songs. And it's amazing. So I kind of got in contact with a few schools, and there's a couple of agencies. I was like, hey, I want to go and talk with kids and play them my music. And they were like, yeah, sure, why not? And it's been obviously with March, the day my song came out was a few days before International Women's Day. So a lot of people talk about that. And so I've managed to go in and be like, yay, so let's all be aware of equal rights and inclusivity, especially now. So,
I mean, just in terms of your music, I mean, you've got a huge platform to kind of get your message across. I mean, you've talked about it being pop and it being fun, but there's the message to your songs. You've got a huge platform. I mean, what do you hope those kids take away from your music?
I always say
the whole experience of talking to you as a person.
I mean, I hope they take away that to get help if you need it, and to embrace it. And my main thing I always say is to embrace your weirdness, because, sorry, my laptop's really loud. As a kid, I was very much the weird kid. I was a little bit overweight. I had my teeth were all messed up. I had braces for years. I had crazy hair, and I was really badly bullied for being different. And then I kind of, when I started making music, everyone was like, oh, those things that you were bullied for make you you, and they make you sellable, and they make you your unique selling point. And I love that. I love being weird, and I
Right.
love like being a bit different. And I kind of want kids to, it's so easy to kind of try and conform
Yeah.
and fit in a box. And we don't have to anymore. And I love that. And I kind of hope kids go away from it and go, do you know what? Yeah, I can, if I want to like anime, if I want to go out and play football, and if I want to do whatever, cool,
Yeah.
great. Like whatever makes you happy, do it.
Yeah. I
Be
mean,
part of it.
for you, what was the point where it kind of, I don't want to say the light switched on, or it kind of, you kind of realized that it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be, it can be a good thing, not a negative. I mean, what was the point for you?
Oh, that's a really hard question. Do you know, I don't know. I spent so long as a kid trying to be quiet and trying to make myself invisible. And so therefore I wouldn't be picked on, bullies wouldn't call me out. And I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
And kind of started realizing when I was singing in my bedroom to the old school Madonna albums from my mum's collection, that was where I was happy, and that's where I felt myself.
Yeah.
And I kind of started singing and just like performing, and realizing that everything's opinion. And if one person hates you, one person's going to love you, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And it kind of just clicked in my brain that actually that's fun, and
Yeah.
it's to have opinions, and it's great to be different. And kind of when people started liking my music, I was like, oh, this is great. Like I'm being myself, I'm being weird, I'm being crazy, and I love it.
Yeah.
And who cares if no one else does, because it's feeding my soul.
Yeah.
And I
Definitely.
always say that with my music, like obviously it's great, it's being played and people are listening to it and streaming it, which is amazing. But I'm proud of it and it makes me happy. So great. If I
Yeah.
can make a living out of that, brill.
Definitely. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, what was the song that kind of really hit home with you, really inspired you to want to do music? I mean, you've talked about Madonna, but was there a specific song? Everyone's got that kind of one song that resonates with them all.
Do you know, I grew up in a household where my mum and dad's music tastes were the most different to each other. Like my dad was the Eagles and like old school 80s kind of rock esque, and my mum was all pop. She was like Whitney Houston, Madonna, like when the boy bands came in, Take That, like, right.
Yeah.
So kind of in my house there was all these different kind of eclectic sounds, and I kind of loved listening to all those different things, and like listening to like Billy Joel, but then listening to Madonna's Immaculate album.
Yeah.
And I always say the Immaculate album was kind of the album for me where Madonna pushed boundaries. She wasn't afraid to be who she was. She wasn't afraid to stand up and be a woman in the 80s and embrace it. I used to always sing like a prayer, always.
Right.
Always
Okay.
did. I love the music video. I love the artistry of it. I love the fact it was like a film.
Yeah.
And there's something about it that even when I hear it now, it takes me back to being a kid and the choir and everything about it. And I was just like, I want to make this. I want to enjoy everything about this and have that risky things and have people talk about it. So yeah, I'd definitely the Immaculate album by Madonna, but Like a Prayer is, every time I hear it, it just takes me back to being a 5-year-old kid and not really understanding the song or what it was about, but just knowing it made me happy.
Yeah, I mean, on the kind of flip side of that, it was, I mean, was Madonna the artist that kind of resonated with you on a kind of different level away from the music? I mean, you've talked about her being a powerful woman in the 80s and that thing. Is that the artist you kind of resonated with you or really kind of connected with?
She was always in the papers. I remember as a kid always hearing about Madonna because she was always doing something or other that people didn't agree with, and yet she still did it, and she was still in the charts and she was still popular. And I was like, oh, you can push boundaries and you can be different and that's okay. And I like I said, I grew up on those kind of artists that just enjoyed it, like David Bowie. Like was such an androgynous kind of human that it was beautiful, and he didn't put labels on anything, and it was amazing that you could just be different. And that's okay. And I grew up with like Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston and listening to their songs, and just they were powerhouses and they were being heard, and that was kind of what really inspired me, that I wanted to do that.
Okay. On another note, then, just going back to the single, then Dance Floor. I mean, what is the one song that makes you, no matter what you're doing, just makes you want to get up and dance?
this is going to sound really random after everything I've just said, but I'm obsessed with the band The 1975.
Yeah.
Like, obsessed. The worst thing for me about COVID was I was meant to go to see them in Germany,
All right. Okay.
and it got cancelled because of that horrific time.
Yeah.
But no matter what mood I'm in, if I hear The Sound by The 1975,
Right.
I'll be dancing around like a lunatic. It can literally change my day, that song.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's so great. They're great.
Okay. Are you going to get a chance to see them then?
Well, at the moment they've not rearranged their
Oh,
dates.
they're not right.
So I'm like, no. I was ready to spend all my money on the merch. Like, I was so ready.
I've done that. Yeah.
Yeah. God. Hopefully.
Okay. Okay. On that note, then, what, in your opinion, what makes a good pop song?
Oh, that's a really good question. Do you know what I kind of think? Even with all kind of music, is if you take something away from it, I love music that makes me feel something, even if it reminds me of time, if it reminds me of an emotion, or you know when you hear a song and you can smell a sound, smell a sound, smell. There you go. And you're like, oh, that reminds me of this, and that's what I love. And I think good pop music is when you either take away a certain lyric that resonates with you or a feeling. And it doesn't even, like I said, The Sound by the 1975, the song isn't like, I mean, it's about a toxic kind of relationship, but I hear it and I hear the drums and I hear the guitars and it just makes me happy. So I kind of think I don't really care who the artist is or what the song is, but if it makes me feel something, even like I have to be in a certain mood for Sam Smith, because his music, it's something about his voice that if I'm having a bad day, it makes me cry.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And he's an incredible artist and I love listening to him. But if I'm having a bad day, those emotions just come flooding back. And I'm like, it's amazing that music can do that.
Yeah. On that note, then, I mean, if you could collaborate with one artist and maybe even do one of your own songs with them, who would it be, and what song would you do?
Do you know, I'd absolutely love to perform with the 1975.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, just brilliant.
Yeah.
But the other person who I love is Pink, the artist, because I do like aerial stuff like she does. I do like stilts. And I kind of got into that because of her, because I love, again, her showmanship. Like when she does
incredible,
she's crazy, like absolutely mental. And like if I'm having a rough day or if I doubt myself, I will put on her documentary that's on TV at the moment. Like literally when that first came out, I watched it about 6 times back to back.
Right.
Because I was like, this is it, that's the life I want, and I love her. I would absolutely love to collaborate with her or to perform with her.
Right.
I'd love to be like one of her old school like misunderstood kind of songs, and like fly through the air with her. That would just be, I'd probably just cry on the floor, to be perfectly honest, but that's what I want.
Okay, perfect. I mean, just to finish, kind of wrap things up then, the single's obviously out now, what are your plans for the rest of the year? And are we going to get to see you flying through the air anytime soon, is the big question.
Oh, I bloody hope so. Yes. So I've actually, you're the first person to know this. Here you go. What time is it? 6:30. I can tell you this. I am part of a podcast where we talk about survivors of domestic abuse and kind of violent women. It's called Take Back the Beat. And we are just announced literally 20 minutes ago that we are doing a mini tour.
Oh, nice.
It's going to be me and another artist, Farah, and we're going to be performing our own music. We've got some special guests coming, and it's raising money for Women's Aid. So the 3rd of June, we are playing the O'Meara in London.
All right, okay.
Which is a dream venue for me. I've always wanted to play there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the next big thing. I've got loads of rehearsals with my band. We're doing some really cool live versions of the songs, including Dance Floor. We're doing a bit of a live, different version. And then we head to Manchester and Brighton as well. And then there'll be an even bigger tour in autumn, which I'm not allowed to say yet.
you just have those, so.
Yeah, it's I can't tell you anything else, but
I didn't hear that bit.
And we've got lots of new music coming. Which I'm so excited about. It's stuff I've written with my guitarist and producer during lockdown, and we're hitting the ground running with it, and I'm so excited for it.
Is that going to be? I mean, you've talked about dance floor, obviously having a message. Is that going to be something, a kind of theme you follow with the rest of your music?
Yeah, I love making music that has kind of a message behind it, even if you don't realize it does.
Yeah.
One in a Million, in fact, I released last year. That's all about a toxic relationship, but a friendship toxic relationship, about letting someone go. And again, it's a fun pop song, and it's not till you really listen to the lyrics that you go, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, a couple of songs that are coming out are quite deep, and then some of them are about finding a new romance, and there's some really fun stuff coming. So I'm really excited for everyone to hear it and hopefully like it as well.
Brilliant. Well, thank you. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, hopefully we can catch up soon and carry on this conversation.
Yeah, need a drink about Reading life. Jesus.
Yeah, there'll be some tales there. Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, jeez. But yeah, no, thank you so much for talking to me.
No, absolutely, and good luck with the podcast and everything. That's really interesting to see how that goes. I hope it goes really well because it's a really worthwhile cause.
Yeah, we're hoping so. And tickets literally go on sale tomorrow morning, so it's been announced half an hour ago now. So you're the first person I've ever told. There you go.
Perfect. Brilliant.
Yeah, exclusive for you.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Good luck with it all, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Hopefully speak to you again soon.